So welcome to the Empowered by Love Self-Empowerment to Create and Embody the New Consciousness Retreat. I am Yara Atlantica Miller, the soul name of Janet. And quick story, real quick, of why my name has changed again. And I know you've known me before as Isla Serona. Because of this change, I realize I'm collecting all my soul aspects that are important for me to embody in this very special incarnation. And so Yara Atlantica connects to the mermaid, the goddess, the siren, the beings connected to the water beings, and Atlantica, of course, is connected to the ocean. I live right near the Atlantic Ocean, never been able to be far from it, love going swimming, and Atlantica is part of Atlantis as well, because I know I lived in Atlantis and in Lemuria. So this is part of my soul name and why it's changed. And this lifetime is totally shifting humanity and into our heart-centered living and creating a higher consciousness human. And, you know, for one who embodies their divine essence and integrate it into our human vessel, we are becoming homo luminous. And it is so powerful and so amazing. And it may look like everything is in chaos, which it does look like that. And it is kind of like that. But yet we are manifesting so much more. And so this retreat is opening you to new ways of being. A famous song that came to me as I was writing this intro by Dionne Warwick, who was in 1965. Now you can tell what age I come from, and written by Burt Bacharach. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And that's the only thing there's just too little of. And that is the first sentence of that song. And it just felt so right, because we've been feeling so much separation. And that's why we're bringing this retreat together, to empower us and to connect to that love essence again, and to love, to give ourselves this gift of this moment. So as we're going through this shift, we see so many different views coming. People are, you know, picking sides. Things are crazy. Our families are kind of, some people are even breaking up. It's amazing to see what's going on. But that's, you know, sometimes that's the soul contract that they've made. So we have to honor these things, even though it's very difficult sometimes. So that's why I created this Empowered by Love retreat, to take time to feel what's in your heart and to take a breath and gift yourself this time, and to reconnect with our hearts. And also because the holiday season is revving up, and we will get swallowed up in those preparations and lots of doing. And right now we are ready to be a human being without all that extra, you know, craziness going on in our life. And we have an amazing speaker, and I should have said her name right away. I have an amazing guest speaker, Corinda Taylor, who will guide us to do this beautiful connection to our heart today. She has an amazing plan for you all. And I'm going to tell you more about Corinda. So welcome, Corinda. And I'm going to just tell them more about you. Corinda Taylor is a leadership mentor and stress-busting coach at Future Transcendence. Corinda empowers business leaders to unify their feminine and masculine qualities to thrive in their career, their health, and in their relationships. She's Australian born, love Australia, and now living in New Zealand since 2018. And I also got to New Zealand in 2017. So I wish I knew you then, Corinda. It's Corinda's mission to support people to be free of stress, heal their challenges, and align with their life purpose. Welcome, Corinda. So happy.
Thank you so much. It's really wonderful to be here.
It is such a pleasure to have us connect like this. And we met in such an interesting way, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm just so pleased that we met, and that, you know, there's never a coincidence in the world. That's how I always look at it. There's never a coincidence. So you are living in a beautiful part of the world, yet it's a little volatile. I should say maybe a lot volatile, but you know, how are things going in New Zealand for you? I'm just going to start with that, because it's kind of interesting to hear how you're doing and what's going on.
Yeah, so we do have some lockdown restrictions, which are really people are quite frustrated with now. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing a lot of pushback, protests towards our Prime Minister and other ministers because, you know, Kiwis, New Zealanders, very used to their freedom, and that's very much being restricted at the moment. So Yeah.
Well, you know, it's exciting to hear that people are pushing back, because I think it's time. I think it's time for all of us, even in the United States, we're starting to push back. So, you know, not to start our empowerment with this, but you know, it's just, it's important to empower yourself. It's part of empowerment. It's part of self-love. It's part of so many things. And so I know your work has led you to working on unifying the energies of the feminine and the masculine, and to create and embody this new consciousness. So tell me, how do you see this unification, and why is it so important right now to self-empowerment?
Yeah, so I definitely feel the new consciousness is about the unification of the feminine and masculine. And what I've experienced, you know, through my own career and life is this dominance, this very strong paradigm of the masculine playing out. And we can see this, you know, at a global level in many ways. But just to name a few, we've got the more dominant males in leadership positions in business. And this has been historic, you know, it's been that position for a long time. We also see a lot of stress occurring, and you know that's costing businesses billions of dollars annually, because people, you know, their well-being is suffering so much, and there's this strong drive for, you know, profits and constant action in business as well. And then the other part of it is, you know, the environment, in terms of how that's been impacted, the harm that's actually occurred to the environment over time, because there's been this real push for production at all costs, even if it impacts Mother Earth. So I very much see the new consciousness as about bringing in more of the divine feminine. That's what's being, you know, that's what's wanting to be created here. And we need the feminine and the masculine balanced. It's not about one being very, very dominant. It's not like we want to bring in the divine feminine and completely overtake the masculine, because then we'll just be out of balance again. So it's about, for what I see, it's about things like us embracing a number of the feminine qualities. And one of those qualities, which, you know, is very close to your and my heart, is really connecting with your life purpose, because that's a feminine energy, because you've got to go within and ask questions about your, you know, what is my life purpose, and start creating from there, which is the feminine energy as well. And obviously, you know, people ask, well, what is my life purpose? What does that mean? And obviously you and I work with the soul purpose system, a very accurate ancient system that brings so much wisdom forward to help humanity evolve and shift at the moment. And in that, people can find out their natural talents, they can find out their life lessons, their challenges that they've got to work through in this lifetime. Plus, you know, where does their soul want to go, their goals in this lifetime, and then really understanding their core essence and, you know, bringing that forth into their life as well. And as you and I know, the more that we align and connect with our soul purpose, the more that we embrace this new consciousness as well. Because I do really think it's about increased awareness, self-awareness, expanded awareness of what's going on around us.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt. That was, and you know, I really love what you just said, because the soul purpose work was so enlightening for me when I got into it. And so you're doing it, and I know your readings are incredible, and they're just very spot on, and you're very succinct, and it's beautiful, because you've got it figured out, like really in a nice, a beautiful way. And I just find that it's the soul purpose is so important for us, as you say, the awarenesses and all that. So the feminine energy coming in, that makes us go in, and yet so the male is very action oriented. That's what I'm understanding, how when you're looking at the two sides of all of us, because we all have masculine and feminine, right? And then the female is more the creative part of it. That's how I'm seeing it. What do you see? What do you see as the part of the feminine that's, besides going in, what else do you find she's going to bring to the world right now?
Yeah, well, I actually see it in a number of qualities, feminine and masculine. And certainly, I do see the feminine as being the creator and the one that needs to go first with the creativity. And then the male follows with the action. And it's about inspired action. And so that really means that we do have to go within and ask questions from ourselves, feel that creative force within, and then take the inspired action that feels really good. It feels really aligned. And then, we don't get completely out of balance then, because when we're just constantly striving to accomplish our goals, we're in that place of doing, which you mentioned earlier, and that's what we've seen a lot of in the world, is people doing and doing and doing. And then there's this forced stop because, it's either illness or injury, because people are just not slowing down. Mm-hmm. And this is what's causing that massive amount of stress and burnout at such a high pace, high level, because we've got to bring in the divine feminine. We've got to slow down to get this balance right in our life. And I guess another quality that I think is really strong at the moment, and part of the new consciousness, and a little bit hard for people to get their heads around, is unconditional love, which you mentioned at the beginning as well. And we've been taught that sort of love seems to have conditions on it, but the thing is that love knows no bounds. It really just wants to be free. And if we can take a sort of higher perspective of love, we really are just, giving love without needing anything in return from it. No matter what is happening, we can give love unconditionally. And I guess an example that sort of comes to mind is, when someone stops communicating with you for whatever reason. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, or even a romantic partner. Mm-hmm. Like, people get very upset about this. Why aren't they communicating with me? Are they ignoring me? Am I invisible? And we go through lots of things. But if we can just sort of allow them to choose whatever path they want to choose and send them love no matter what, that's unconditional love. And, it's their choice if they want to come back and start communicating again or not. But we're not putting our expectations on what they need to do or needing to control their actions. And, that's when I really do think that people really understand the embodiment of unconditional love, is when you can completely let go of that person, allowing them completely to choose what they want to do. And just knowing that you're just sending them so much love, and they're free to go on their path with love, or they can return if they feel the love. But you don't put any sort of expectations. There's no attachment to the outcome. So that's sort of how I see unconditional love. And I've had to work through that in my own situations over time. But that's what really came through to me as how we embody and create from unconditional love, is we just give love no matter what, even to the things that we see as quite heinous or atrocities in the world. We still need to just give love, unconditional love, because there's an absence of love in those situations, those violent acts, those heinous acts. So it's really about, the new consciousness is really about being able to, release any sort of preconditions or any sort of social conditioning we've had around the idea of love, and really rise above it and bring a lot more love into the world.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's a lifetime learning sometimes. And look at how much you've already understood. And I know you're not very old. So, I mean, you've already embraced that. And so for me, I am, 60s is my era. And it's taken me a lifetime to understand what unconditional love was. because I had so many preconceived ideas that I was taught, the beliefs from religions and different things and family, you know, they were coming from such a, what's the word, rigid kind of teaching that to finally get to the point, well, I can understand what I can understand it in my head, but also feel it in my heart. When you can, you can think about it and you can figure, like what you just said makes so much sense. It's so beautiful, but then you want to bring it into your heart, right? And connect with that, because yeah, right now, this is like the true test of unconditional love, isn't it? For all of us. Like, you know, so many things are splitting people apart. It's like, well, what is unconditional love? And what can you do? Can you unconditionally love these people, even if you don't agree with them? Bless them, send them on their way, even the things that are coming down on us that are not dictates that we really want to live with. You can send them blessings instead of negative energy, but yet you don't have to also take it all either, right? So how do you see that moving in as well, the empowerment? Like, how do you work unconditional love into self-empowerment? How do you see that?
Yeah, so you've got to be true to who you are,
Mhm.
and you've got to definitely find your own truth in amongst, you know, 50,000 thoughts that we have every day, and all the, you know, social media, other media that's all around us. And so we've got to, this is why understanding your life purpose is so helpful, because it really does give you so many good insights into how you can, you know, remain centered, remain in your power when everything is going on around you. And you know, we always have the choice of what we pay attention to. And so I'm often saying to my clients, when they are feeling, you know, the chaos, the uncertainty to quite extremes, because it's, you know, it's very much in their environment, you know, they always have a choice of what they pay attention to. And I always come back to love, choosing love over fear.
Mm.
You know, really asking, is that fear that's coming up, is it real? Is it true? You know, and sort of analyzing, you know, whatever is coming up, so that you can get a bit more information about, well, what are you paying attention to?
Mm. Yeah, that's a very good thought. And also, I know for me, when you were saying that, I'm like, okay, and I also had to understand that it's not always our fear. It could just be coming from the collective, which, you know, when you're a sensitive or an empath, like many of us in this work are, then you're also taking on the energies around you, and you're also taking on the consciousness of the masses. I mean, it's like you can feel it. I mean, some of us can really feel that. So you're also looking at that. So there's a lot to that. That's a powerful understanding and a powerful knowing to look at the choices. Like, yeah, because when everything started, we had to really step back. I mean, first everyone jumps into fear because you can't help it. It's all new. And that's natural. There's nothing wrong with it. But then we've got to ground ourselves. And like you're saying, make the choice. What is it we want to put our focus on? And that is also a learning. It's taken me some time to even do that during this crisis. And so I'll be honest, because we've all been, you know, shaken to learn new things that we never thought would happen in our lifetimes. And now we are seeing it and we're thinking, wow, what is this all about? You know, we thought would be over, and here we are dragging into a second year, and who knows what. We don't know at this point. There is no known. It's all the unknown. So we have to create. That's why this new consciousness, as you're saying, is helping us to create the choices that we want to see manifesting in the world, right? So go ahead. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right with all your points. We definitely do get caught up in the collective energies, particularly as empaths and sensitives. So we do have to make sure that we, you know, have good energy management, daily grounding and protection activities, and so that we can really just be with our energies as much as possible. And I absolutely agree that this is asking us to rise above the fear
Mhm.
and create our own reality. And as we know, we're master creators. So, we need to decide where do we want to put that energy and attention each day to create the life that we want, because we know about the law of attraction, and it is going to bring back to us whatever is happening in our inner world will be reflected back out to us in that outer world. And, it's hard to take 100% responsibility for that and everything that's that's coming out. But when we go within and we go, oh, I do have that fear within me, I do have that worry, I do have that concern, that's actually, part of what we actually have to move to as well, going within more and dealing with our emotions, because that's how we can actually master our emotions. And we were never taught these processes growing up. And it is, again, the divine feminine, and it actually helps us to relate to ourselves better and others better if we can learn to go within to release and process our emotions. So what the masculine paradigm has taught us is to suppress, repress, or sometimes express our emotions. But often we've repressed them and we've suppressed them, and then they come out in different ways. And the way that we often do the repression and the suppression of emotions is we distract ourselves with action, such as social media, TV, addictions, eating, food, all those sorts of things. And this is what the masculine energy has actually taught us to do. And so this is why with the new consciousness, to embody it, we actually have to work with our emotions in a completely different way, which is embracing the feminine, which is actually stillness and really allowing us to be with our emotions. And, that can be quite confronting to really face your emotion. But it's about going within, feeling where the sensation is in the body. It's actually going within our body, feeling it, welcoming it, allowing it to be here, not trying to do anything with it, just completely embracing it. And, sending love to that part of our body, wherever it's feeling quite intense. But this is the way that we actually process the emotions. And then we can relate to others in much better ways, because when we've suppressed or repressed things can come, we can be triggered and, we can explode because we haven't been processing the emotions. Whereas when we're in the feminine and we process the emotion, that really furthers our relationships in many ways, because we're taking responsibility for how we're feeling, and it can really cultivate a much better relationship.
Yeah, that's so true. And when you were talking about the masculine, what was coming to me is the masculine were also taught to suppress and repress their emotions, because they were taught to be strong and oh no, men don't cry and men don't share their emotions. They've got to be strong like a soldier, which they're allowed to, because they also have a feminine side, because we're both, right? So it's an important thing to understand, because I don't think any of us got that, because when I was growing up, the boys were meant to be boys and girls are meant to be girls. It was such a strict, rigid, nobody's gonna cross those lines. You know how that was. And then the whole belief system was very rigid. But now we're talking about connecting to both, and that's in the man and the female, the man and the woman. We're both male and female parts of us, right? So how would you explain that to people? Like, you did say a little bit more. What else would you say about that? What are these components that create the unification and result in that new consciousness?
Yeah, that's right. We have to think, despite our gender, we have to remember that we have both masculine and feminine qualities, and you can't have one without the other. They're always they're always together. You can see that in the yin and yang symbol as well. There's the two dots in the in the symbol. But yeah, absolutely. Men in particular have had this very strong paradigm of really suppressing or repressing their emotions, and that's caused a lot of problems for them in relationships, because they can feel the divine feminine wanting them to express and feel their emotions. And so they do feel quite lost because they've never felt that they could express their emotions or be listened to, or, because their parents didn't really listen to them. They wanted to stop them from expressing. So there's a real challenge going on for males actually in society as we bring in these very strong divine feminine energies, and they're not so sure of their role anymore as well, because it's been very, there's been a lot of traditional roles for females and males. So we've got to remember that it's not easy necessarily for some males in terms of what's happening at the moment. And we're not saying that by bringing in the feminine that it's better than the masculine. It's actually, what we do want is just more balance, so that we can have more peace and harmony and love in the world. And some of the other qualities is we've been in this very much the masculine energy of giving. So the masculine is giving and the feminine is receiving. And so the new consciousness is that we do actually have to embrace more of the receiving. So this can also bring up challenges for people, because sometimes we have these beliefs about receiving, that it's, being selfish, or, you're not worthy, or you're not deserving of receiving. And so some of these old limiting beliefs that we've had about receiving also need to be removed. And that's for everyone. If we actually think about, well, can I receive something, even compliments? Some people go, they're very dismissive of compliments when they receive it. But what we have to do is get into that place of, oh, I'm really relishing this moment of receiving, so that we can get more balance between the two and actually open up to the infinite possibilities that life wants to bring us when it comes to receiving.
Yeah, and I see that the younger generations, like you and the younger youth generations, are also more willing to receive, and they're more willing to accept these compliments and beautiful thoughts and expressions that come to them. And it's just a natural part for them. Where the elder generations, like my groups, and anywhere between 40 and 80, we've all been even 45, 50, you could say, but even some of the 40-year-olds, their families are still stuck in the old thinking, the old paradigm, the very male, female dominated roles. And so, they really have to look at that. I had a point, now it's kind of slipped out of my mind. I'm like, my gosh, I had something I was going to bring in, and I now what? So, I mean, it's so powerful to look. I know what it was. The younger generations, it's so powerful to see them, because women are switching roles with men. I mean, women are becoming the main breadwinners a lot in families, and the men are gladly staying home and taking care of kids if the kids are young. And some of them may choose not to, work out of the home, or just, make it so that their work is not going to inhibit the childcare. It's just interesting to see. You can start seeing more of a balance coming in now in the younger generations. They're really the ones that I'm watching, because they're teaching me. They're teaching me to accept things that I was so unaware of. And it wasn't even in the thoughts of my generations, but now, I mean, all of you are looking at things so differently, and it's so refreshing. And it's so wonderful. This is that beautiful, and there's a lot of unconditional love coming up amongst you all. I mean, you really are examples of unconditional love in so many ways, I think, because you've come in with less of these stronger belief systems, these, maybe the parents you chose allowed you to think more, freely, or you just took it and ran anyway. Some of, we have the indigos and all the star children that keep coming through. There's all early ones. And then there's the, later ones. But I know you have a special experiential event you want to bring to the audience. So maybe, is it time? Do you feel like it's time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's hopefully this has given a bit of, practical ways that people can sort of balance their masculine and feminine, and think about, you know, the energies that they're bringing in each day. But what I want to also share is some energy techniques, a couple of energy techniques that really balance the masculine and feminine within, which you can do easily on a daily basis. And then I want to move to a meditation to really bring through that connection between heaven and earth, you know, Father Sky and Mother Earth. So really bring in a beautiful experience so people can really feel the creation and the embodiment of the feminine and the masculine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had one more question. I'm like, should I ask it now? Well, it was how you envision this new age coming up. Like, you've given me ideas of the men, like you see what the men have been bringing through, and the women, you talk about the receiving for the men. You said the men are the givers and the women are the receivers. You said that was the old paradigm, or is that the new paradigm?
So no, that we've still had the old paradigm of the masculine, which is the giving energy. So we've been far more comfortable with giving. Now with the new consciousness, what we want to do is embody more of that receiving. So we're getting more balance between giving and receiving, because there are some limiting beliefs about receiving. So more of us need to embrace more of that receiving. So again, we get the right balance of both the masculine and the feminine in our life, because that's what brings more peace and harmony and calmness.
And it also gives that self-worth and that self-love. When you accept things, you feel cared for, loved, and you just feel like people are paying attention to you. Like, I'm seen, I'm not invisible here. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And you make such a good point. Self-love, that's a perfect way to be receiving more. Yeah.
I know that. I mean, I've heard the receiving is a good thing, but you're putting it into both sides, which is great, because a lot of times people think, I think of the female giving a lot because she's the mom and they're always giving emotionally and all that. But the men are giving physically because they're always supporting. They always would consider the main breadwinners. So they were the givers. So yeah, that was an interesting way you brought that through. And the women received a lot from the men because they took care of the women, where now it's more of a balance because women are working as much as men now. And so, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I had to move that around in my mind. Like, what does she mean? And it's beautiful because, because the female are also working like the men. They're supporting and giving as well now, so that the receiving is important for both sides. And that is, again, the self-love. I think that's why self-love is so big right now, that people talk about it. And some people think, well, what is this self-love? Why do you have to talk about it? Why is it so important? But if we don't love ourselves, who do we love? I mean, how do you love others, right? And it used to be, when I was young, it was frowned upon to love yourself. You were like, you were just narcissistic. But there's different ways of narcissism too. I mean, there can be narcissism, but yet there is a balance of, like you're saying, the giving and the receiving. Okay, I'm not going to say any more. Let's go into your experiential, beautiful energy session.
Wonderful. Okay, well, the first two energy techniques you can do anywhere at home. You just need to be sitting or standing in a comfortable way. So the first one, I'm sure many of you know, it's alternate nostril breathing. And so we'll start there. And this is going to bring about, more peace and harmony between our left and right brain as well. So what you can do, for women, we should use our left hand, and for men, they should use their right hand. And the reason why that is because the right brain is the feminine side, and it controls the left hand side. So the left hand side is the feminine, and the right hand side is the masculine, and the left side of the brain controls the right hand side. Just if people don't realize that we do have a feminine and a masculine side. So that's why generally women should use their left hand to do the alternate nostril breathing, because then you're tapping into your left hand side and your right brain, and males is the opposite. And also, if if you need to use the other hand, that's okay. But I'm just letting you know that's the main premise behind why women will choose the left. So you'll take your thumb and you'll just hold it up to one side, and then you'll alternate with 2 fingers on the other side. So we'll be just blocking off the flow as we go.
The same hand. You use the same hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So what we'll do is we'll just block off the right side with our thumb, and we'll breathe through the other nostril. And then you'll switch and breathe out on the other side. And then you'll breathe through that nostril, and then you'll block it, and then you'll let it out the other side. Breathe in.
I don't know.
Block it off.
Let's do it one more time.
So breathing in, block off, and then breathe out the other side. So you might want to do that about 6 times just to, really feel the benefits. And because you're taking quite deep breaths through one side of your nose and out through the other, it really does bring in quite a lot of
I can feel it. I feel
good
it.
feelings.
Do you want to do a couple more times? Let's do it 3 times, just so we'll get that rhythm going, because I think there's a little rhythm to it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start again. So breathing through. And out through the other side. Breathing in. Breathing out through the other side. Breathing in. Breathing out through the other side. And one more. Breathing out.
I think I did it a little backwards, but it's okay. I could feel it. I could feel the energy. It was just natural for me to stay on this side. I don't know what it is, but I just did. I didn't know you said switch to the right. So don't watch me, gang. Just do it the way I showed you.
Yeah, it will take a little bit of time just to get used to it, but yeah, it will help just balance, the hemispheres of your brain, which will just overall bring in more calmness and reduce some stress for you. So you can use that at any time that you feel a bit stressed during your work day, or whenever there's a stressful event happening with it in a relationship or anything like that. Now, the second energy technique is really connecting heaven and earth. And you can do this again sitting down like we are, or standing up with your legs apart. We'll do it sitting down. And all you do is you take one hand up to the sky and you look up towards the sky, and then you use the other hand, which goes down towards Mother Earth, towards the ground beneath your feet. And you look up and just imagine that beautiful sun coming in, and the sun represents the masculine and Father Sky, and the earth beneath our feet is what we're connected to with our other hand. And all you have to do is bring it into a prayer position in front of your heart, and then you just stretch up and do the other side. And this is really bringing in a beautiful connection between the two, Father Sky and Mother Earth. And you can just do just a couple of breaths each time as you do that stretch. And it's just, again, really good way it's balancing and aligning our body, but it's also connecting us at the same time.
So let's do one more series of it. Do one more, because I feel like it's good that we learn it, and then it's nice to put it into practice. So
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Breathing in and stretching up towards the sky. Feeling that beautiful connection between the sun and the earth. And you just take some nice breaths, and really imagining that beautiful energy flowing through all of your body. And then come to the prayer position. And then opening back up. And I just find that there's a real lightness of being with these practices.
I've never done that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of, you know, that new consciousness. It's all about lightness and removing sort of the heaviness and, you know, our shadow and our wounding. You know, that's what we're moving away from. You know, we've healed it, we've worked through it so that we can then bring in so much more light.
Oh, I love that. I really do love that. So I hope people, you don't mind that I'm a visual, so I have to learn visually. So if anyone's a visual learner like me, that's why I said, let's do it one more time, because once I get the visual, then I can do it without thinking about it. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. It's really beautiful.
You're very welcome. Okay, so now I'll move into the meditation. So I'm going to switch off my camera just so that people can get really relaxed for this. Yara is going to leave hers on and she's going to do meditation with us. But yeah, I just invite you to spend the next 10 minutes or so just really connecting and unifying your feminine and masculine. And it's a really, really beautiful meditation. And if you do this daily, you will feel massive benefits in terms of how you feel, because it's, again, going to connect you heaven and earth, which is so important for the new consciousness. That's what we're creating, is heaven on earth.
Beautiful.
Okay. Here we go. So just getting comfortable and closing your eyes. I want you to imagine, sense and see in front of you the most beautiful lake scene. You see a mountain in the background and trees lining the lake. You see fields of flowers as far as the eye can see, including roses, tulips, daffodils, sunflowers, and all other types of flowers that you can imagine. They are all abundantly present. You see swans and ducks gliding on the lake effortlessly. You look over further and can see deers, squirrels, giraffes, koalas, and every other life form you can imagine. This place is teeming with all forms of flora and fauna. It is magical and tranquil. It is the abundance of Mother Earth. Mother Earth is beautiful and abundant. Send all of your love into this beautiful natural world in front of you. And you are now going to send your love to the Divine Mother, Mother Earth. Sending all of your love to your Divine Mother. Feel the love you are sending to your Divine Mother. Now see a beautiful white light coming from your heart, and send that light into the core of the earth to your Divine Mother. Your Divine Mother is now sending you love in return. You are now receiving love from the Divine Mother. Feel this immense, pure, loving energy coming from your Divine Mother directly to you. Immerse yourself in this love And when it merges with one cell, it merges with every cell in your body. Deeply feel your divine mother's love for you. Once you have received her love, you are then going to float up above you to your divine Father, Father Sky. You're going to keep all the love that your divine mother has given to you as you journey to your divine Father. Once you have arrived, you are greeted with a sky full of stars twinkling brightly and all of the star systems. You see the moon and the solar system, and you engage with all planets and feel the abundance of the vast galaxy before you. You look back and see Earth. You look to your right and you see the Milky Way. You feel so much love for this expansive universe with all of its galactic life forms. You then send your love out into the galaxy. You are now sending your love to your divine Father. Feel an immense love for your divine Father and send this love out to the universe. Then send your love to the core of the galaxy to your divine Father by beaming a light directly from your heart. Feel yourself extending expansive love to your divine Father. Your divine Father is now sending love back to you, and receive his love deeply into the core of your being. Immerse yourself with the divine Father's love for you. Deeply receive it. It is here for you now. Open up and receive all of the love. And once it merges with one cell of your body, it merges with all cells. You are completely immersed. Now see a beam of light coming from the core of the galaxy through you and connecting you to the core of Mother Earth. You are now one with your Divine Mother and Divine Father. Now send love to the earth, to all living beings, so that they can embrace unity consciousness and oneness with all that is, and embody heaven on earth. Now just coming back slowly and opening your eyes when you're ready.
Beautiful. It's hard to come back. I enjoyed that place very much. Beautiful connection. Very relaxing. Really feel the heart centeredness of it and the connection to Mother and Father. It's beautiful. The Divine Mother and Father. Yeah. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed that, because I thought it was just beautiful. So, how do you feel that love will empower us to create the new consciousness now and in 2022? Any kind of insights or anything you see that you're getting that you can help people with? Anything that comes up?
Yeah, so I've recently been guided to to the fact that I already do embody the frequency of unconditional love. So that's why, I I really enjoy talking about choosing love, replacing fear. And, that's part of what this big shift is at the moment, is really, really understanding love at new levels. So I think we're going to continue to see that. We've seen so much fear just come up in recent times. So, that's definitely going to continue. And the more that we can step into self-love, just the meditation that I just shared, where we're connecting with the Divine Father and the Divine Mother, and there's lots of love, and we're remembering who we truly are, then that's going to it's going to make a big difference. And I was guided just the other week that meditation that I shared today is very, very important.
Mm.
Even I was told for myself to remember to do it daily. Because it really helps us connect.
Yeah. It's really connecting you to that unconditional love that we don't always identify with. So when you bring yourself into that space you created, it is very beautiful. I mean, I just feel enveloped by love. I do. I just feel like a peacefulness over me, and very balanced, very harmonious. Like I just feel peaceful, really beautifully peaceful. And that hasn't come easy this year. So it's perfect. It's perfect for what we need right now. So thank you for sharing what you shared. It's powerful to talk about the different levels of love and to understand what the different levels are. It's something that we say it very lightly, but yet when you bring it through in the ways you did today, you can definitely feel the change and the difference and the depth. I love that, because I mean, we're all learning. We're still learning about these things, and some have it, some are getting it, and some are like, oh, wow, maybe it's today they got it. So I'm really excited. Thank you for that. And I know you have a free offer for the audience and another special offer. Would you like to tell them about it?
Yeah, so my free gift is actually a quiz, and this will actually help you identify your own feminine and masculine qualities, and things that I shared before. You can actually go deeper into with my quiz, and actually help you to sort of see where are you sort of leading from more? Is it more of the masculine? Is it more of the feminine? And, inviting, that greater balance. So it is about figuring out what your leadership style is, what you're leading with day to day. And that can really help in business or your career, but it can also help just in your daily life as well.
That's a good test. That's really good to know, because we think just because we're women, we're leading with the feminine, but you will be surprised, right? I'm going to take that test too. I was looking at it, I'm going, I got to take this. So, okay. And I know you have another offer.
Yeah. So another way to really connect, and become more balanced in life, I have a beautiful healing that I'm an advanced master healer of, and that's called grace healing. And I've found that grace healing has brought in a lot of calmness, a lot of balance into my life, because it not only works with balancing your chakras, but it also balances your hormones and many, many other things. And it can work on any financial, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical issue that you might have at the time. And the real differentiator about grace healing is actually removing negative and abusive programming out of you at a cellular level as well. So that's why it's so transformative and so effective at actually removing, long-standing problems. And it actually does work faster than, some of the other healing modalities out there, because it's working at this cellular level. So it's quite an advanced sort of healing modality for the times. And yeah, I've benefited a lot myself. becoming an advanced master healer of it, but also a lot of my clients have. So I actually offer a 3 months of remote healing, and the person would receive 24/7 healing via source for that whole 3 months. So, and that's 299 New Zealand dollars, which is approximately 214 US dollars. But that's a whole 3 months of
that's a long time.
continuous
That's fantastic.
healing.
Yeah, I mean, that's powerful. That's really powerful. Thank you for that generous offer. It's a beautiful offer. And yeah, I haven't heard of the Grace. So this is something you brought in yourself.
No, this is, I was certified and trained by Stacey Mayo. So she's a well-known medical intuitive, but she's also, since her work has advanced, she's brought in even more healing modalities, and grace healing is one of her key.
It's beautiful. Healing. I haven't heard of it. So there's so much coming through that we're meant to be connected to. And so you're bringing this to us now. So thank you so much for that. So beautiful. So there you go, everyone. 2 offers of beautiful free offer, and then another special one if you want to gift yourself. And this is gifting season. So not a bad time to gift yourself this beautiful grace healing. So, and I'm also so grateful to all of the listeners here and the participators who are, you know, taking the time to do the meditations and the work with us, because you are getting even more. And of course, you're going to get a recording. So if you choose to sign in, like you all have, you're going to get the recording of this. So you'll have it to work and listen to the different energies that Corinda brought through, and then the meditation. So you will get to see it, listen to this a few times. So very good. So grateful you're all here and you're taking the time to fill your cups and to enjoy this time to connect with your hearts and to feel these beautiful teachings that are being shared here. So I hope they've empowered you. I hope they have helped you create more joy in your life and this unconditional love that we're meant to bring through, that you are getting that connection more and more. And we would love you to share any profound moments or any kind of guidance that came through while you were doing this with us and Corinda. So I will definitely let Corinda know, and you can email her directly. You'll have all her information at the bottom of this after this, when the show comes out. And thank you, Corinda, so much for creating this beautiful retreat experience, and that you have connected us to our divine leadership and all kinds of amazing, empowering ways that you brought it through for us. And it's just incredible that your divine guidance has allowed us to embrace and to connect to that male and female energy and that identity of who we really are, and to create so much harmony within. And I just feel that from you today. So thank you for being that divine guide and stepping into and embodying your fullness and your empowerment through your love for humanity and this divine leadership that you're bringing through for us. This is what we need right now. So thank you so much. And this has been a beautiful harmonizing experience of the power of love. I just so feel that from you. Thank you so much. And
thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And, you know, if we can harness this unconditional love of self and each other, and understand that we are all mirrors of each other, that we have empowered ourselves through love, and move into the next higher level of consciousness for us all, and along our rightful place alongside, you know, this amazing, our galactic brothers and sisters that we're meant to join in this universe as we connect to our hearts more and more. Thank you so much for sharing your love today, Corinda, and for all of you being here and partaking in this share. And I am Yara Atlantica Miller, and I will see you all in our next experience of Empowered by Love.